and it's just being created now, honestly. Here's one I prepared earlier. If we run SQLEs, come on, with just this as the input, it will print out the contents. Right? So RM, run it from scratch. Right? Aren't you guys like really glad that I skipped all the other demos? Like you would have got to see this multiple times. All right, so there you go. Pretty riveting stuff, I can tell, huh? All right. So basically what that attack is doing is it is injecting data into the free space within the SQLite file. Anyone doing forensic analysis on SQLite is going to have a significant disadvantage in this case because there are no forensics tools for SQLite, right? Which basically brings us to the conclusion, the future of anti-forensics is out of the file system into the files, right? File systems are known. There's only a few different implementations that you can go after, and it's possible for people to figure out the bugs and fix them. File formats, on the other hand, are pretty much a mystery. Right? You can take an existing closed source application on Windows, reverse engineer the file format that it uses for storage, do your attack against that, and it will never be found ever. Right? Basically, attacking file systems is old hat these days. It's not the place to go after anymore. You want to move into the application space. Once you're at the application space, it's a lot easier to do data storage. So my recommendation is to go for the stuff that I'm working on right now, such as to use the iPod database as a data storage mechanism. One of the reasons that that is a really cool way of doing it is that it's very, very easy to erase, because when you plug your iPod into an iTunes computer, it will rewrite the database from scratch and erase all of the work that you've spent 3 nights fucking working on and didn't know that it automatically erases it as soon as it gets plugged in, right? Which is a great feature for, data destruction, because you can sit there, you see the cops coming, you plug your iPod in, bang, data gone. God damn it. So essentially, the idea that I'm suggesting to everyone is, from these days on, you should really focus on data contraception attacks. So how you can stay in RAM longer, the less things that you can do to actually interact with the computer, the better. And also move into the application space. Go after file formats. They're much, much more exciting than going after file systems. Right. Questions? Yo.
How many kernel panics did you trigger on OS X while you were messing around with HFS?
I didn't trigger any. Wow. Yeah, I didn't do it on my main disk because I'm not that dumb. I learned this one when I used to do all my stuff on Linux. I only had to rewrite my source code twice from scratch. So but no, like the thing is, file system code is actually very, very poorly written, because the assumption is always made that the only person who's writing to the file system is the kernel. And since you're writing the code for the kernel, you can assume that anything that you read back is something that you wrote, right? So they don't do a lot of error checking. I think they got hammered heavily with this like a year or two ago, when there was that, like, all the month of fucking Wangfest stuff. Yeah. But basically, like, the HFS plus code isn't that bad. Like, it's kind of elegant. Most of the attacks that I've been doing, like I don't fuck up pointers that badly. Like, I just, like I have right now, that I write stuff out, something flushes over it, and my data vanishes in between, and it's very frustrating. But yeah. Any other questions? Nope, so there's no
I'm just curious about the application of these kinds of attacks. So let's say you were dealing with illegal pornography, using a technique like this to
no comment. Like a bit.
what would your interface be? Because putting the data in, you need to pull it out, right?
Yes, see, like, there's bootstrapping, there's significant bootstrapping problems, right? So you need to have a tool that allows you to access your hidden data store. But that tool cannot be hidden itself, otherwise you can't access your hidden data store. And if that tool isn't hidden, then it's basically like leaving the keys out next to the safe, right? Like, no one can get in unless they know to look underneath the flower pot next to the front door, that sort of thing. So there are problems with that. Most of the anti-forensics, as I understand it, is useful primarily as a post break-in. So you break into a box, and then you need to clean up to make sure that there is less evidence that can be used against you or used to track you down. Like, that interests me a lot more than hiding pornography, for example. The other thing is that, like, most of the anti-forensic stuff here, it's like, it's not worth it, because you don't actually need to do any of this to hide your stuff from a forensics investigator, right? The best stuff is, number one, don't get caught, right? If you do get caught, wait until you go to like basically try and get a good lawyer, because you're going to need it. Like generally speaking, all of the stuff like the child pornography, they always go for the low-hanging fruit. They go for the easiest guys to find. Hackers, they go for the low-hanging fruit. They go for the young kids who don't know how to clean up after themselves, that haven't developed all of the good habits of, like, wipe the logs, make sure your rootkit is running, all that stuff. The people that they capture tend to be the low-hanging fruit because it's easier for them to do that. Like there's just various sorts of things that, like, make anti-forensics as a specific region of study not very useful. Like that putting a dot in front of the file name on Unix, that still works. Like, that is a very effective attack. And like, it's going to continue to work for a very, very long time, because your, from an anti-forensics perspective, your first objective is to not be detected. So your adversary is not necessarily the forensics investigator. It's the system administrator who has day-to-day interaction with that box. If that system administrator isn't suspicious, then there's not going to be an investigation. And if there's no investigation, there's no forensics officer to come and look at the file system. So don't piss off the sysadmin, and you don't have to worry about, you know, hiding all of your stuff properly. But yeah, you're right. It's a pointless waste of time. Thank you for bringing that up, Charles. Are there any other questions? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for attending day one of our conference. The Pirate Bay's talk will start at